That looks good. What's that?
It's wine unknown. Welcome to Wine Unknown. I'm your host. My name is Bryant Fennell, also known as Bright Guy, and I'm a wine specialist. What does that even mean? Well, it means that I know a lot of information about wine, and I want to share that along with my passion with you guys. So no matter where you're at in your journey, no matter if it's the beginning, the middle, well, let's face it, there's no such thing as the end. This is the show for you. Man, I really love this platform. I love this show. I love doing this. I get to share all of the wine knowledge that I've come across to you guys. And that's amazing because I just did Pinot Noir and Zinfandel. And that was mad fun because now hopefully you guys learned something about those grape varietals that you didn't know before. And now I get to highlight Malbec, which gets overlooked a whole lot, but it's so fun and easy to drink, and its story is fantastic. I can't wait to tell you more about it. So let's just jump into the show. Why does Malbec get overlooked so much? I don't even know. I don't have the answer as to why it gets overlooked, but it does. And that sucks. It truly does suck because when you think of red wine, the first thing people are thinking about, at least here in America, I can say throughout the world, they're looking for like Cabernet Sauvignon. They're looking for like Pinot Noirs. They're looking for all these other kind of grapes. I mean, even Merlot, even though that kind of has a bad rep, but they're still checking for Merlot before they are Malbec. And this is fact. And it's like, why? Malbec is such a great, easy drinking wine. I would think Malbec would be like top tier for the sheer fact that Malbec, yes, it's a red wine, but it doesn't have the same amount of tannin per se as something like a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a good balance that it does have. It's what Malbec essentially is. It's more juicier. It's more fruit. It's lively. It's in a mix. And I think that back in the day when they were trying to like brand this, people were so hooked on like reviews and critics and what this person is saying and all that there was like, this hasn't scored high at the judgment of whatever kind of like competition. I've never heard of this, get this out of my face. I think it's something like that, and it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But like, Cab is going to give you that astringency, and I think everybody is basing red wine off of the Cabernet Sauvignon wine or grape varietal, and that's ridiculous. That's pretty limiting, to say the least. Malbec is just this casual, like, table wine that you can enjoy with your friends at your dinner table. You invite some people over, you're pouring a Malbec, one, because it's usually inexpensive. There are some expensive ones out there, but for the most, it's going to be inexpensive. So this is ideally what you're going for, You're like, all right, I don't want to spend the thousands or hundreds of dollars on red wine like a cab. I don't want to do that. We're just going to sit here and we're going to have small talk. It's just going to be a vibe. I'm going to grab a Malbec because it's so juicy and you're going to get all these ripe fruit flavors, and you're also still going to get some of that oak influence. So to me, it's a no-brainer. But why did it get overlooked? I don't understand. Let me tell you where it's from, right? So Malbec is originally from southwest of France. So now we're thinking, all right, so we're in France. What are the grapes that's dominant, that the red grapes in France that's dominant are going to be Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. Boom. So that's what that's the kick that everybody's on. It's from this small town where it's really popular. It's in Cahors, and that's spelled Cahors. And it's known as not Malbec there, but it's more so known as cot or goat, depending on how you do it. It's the COT, but that O has like that arrow pointing up on top of it. That's Malbec. As simple as you can explain it, that's what that looks like on a label, right? But you don't see that too often. What you see is Malbec from Argentina. How? How does that even happen if it's all the way over here? Well, there was this horticulturist that presented this whole case and got funding to be able to move these Malbec vines from this area over over into Argentina to start planting. Now, it wasn't just the like, oh, I think this. No, this person has went over there, traveled and seen that they had wine vines there and they were producing okay kind of like wines, not even really okay. They were just bad, but they also didn't have any of the technology. They didn't have anything. They were just doing it from the muscle, which is kind of hard to do when, like the world is at a certain level of making wine. So the standards were not all the way there. So this guy understood, he had the information, he had the knowledge to understand that this soil type will work perfectly with what I have back at home. If I can get support behind it, I can show. And he did. And he bought it, and it was fantastic. It worked out really well. It showed success. Now, the thing with that, like the grapes themselves grown great. They worked out perfectly, but the equipment wasn't up to par. So you got you got it at a level of it's better than what we've been doing. But it's not, it still can't compete. It still can't compare to the stuff that we know that's out there of other red wines, because the winery equipment that they were using back then was just like rusted over makeshift, because imports were hard, and definitely with machinery we're talking about too. Like there wasn't it like wasn't as easy as it is, of course, today to get like stills and to get all of these things from one side of the world to another side. And it was going to take a long time as well. So, because we're still talking about like things on ships. So it had to take a back seat to its brothers and sisters that's gaining so many accolades that people eventually just started to use it only as a blending grape because its structure is so sound. Like it has great acidity, it has great fruit forward flavors, it has everything that you would need to bump up whatever it is that you wanted to bump up in your whatever wine you're kind of making, except a Malbec for wine. And that's what it became. That's what it is. And that's what it's still known as today, except in this area or this region in Argentina of Mendoza. Like there's also Malbec in Chile, right? And that's right there. They are next to each other. They are like, if you look at the map, they are connected, but they're not connected. It's kind of just like the US and Canada kind of thing. It's kind of just like that. But these things, like they are side by side. It's so crazy. But on Chile side, they focus more on a different grape that we'll jump into later, which is Carmenere. And they use this grape varietal, such as the Malbec, as a blending just to boost up what they put on a label as Carmenere. That's just the name of the game, Here in America, it's the same thing because, the bread and butter in America is Cabernet Sauvignon, right? And Pinot Noir. Merlot has lost so much market share from a movie, but it's we'll get into that later. Man, but yeah, that Malbec still to find a US Malbec is going to be really hard. There are some places that's doing it, but it's not a thing because it's still just a grape viewed as a blending grape. But then there's Paul Hobbs. I think I gave him a shout out on a couple episodes ago, but Paul Hobbs does make good wine. Not even good, great wines. Like, so Paul Hobbs was this young guy that was a part of the Robert Mondavi team, and he obsesses over how you want to make wine or how he wants to make wine, where he's measuring every barrel and it has to be a certain whatever, the level of detail that this guy has. He took it down to become a partner in a winery slash vineyard in Argentina. And oh man, they ended up making this Malbec that scored really well. Scored really high. 90 point, I think it was 92 points. It was high 90s, not high like 97, but it was 90 something, right? And that's all it needs to warrant for people. I'm going to buy that. Now, when he first got there, the vineyard and the winery just wasn't up to date. But it's like, all right, let's focus on the grape itself. So they changed some things around within how they were going to grow the grapes. And then that next year, after implementing that, the grapes were much brighter. They were much fuller. It made a huge difference. Now in the winery, all the equipment was just like horrible. It wasn't the greatest equipment to use. So they end up getting the equipment they needed, and the wines came out so spectacular. So now we start to break in. And these are recent years. Like we're in the 2000s now, and this had to be around like 90, like late 90s, 97 or something like that. In wine years, that's young. In our years, that's probably a long time. But the impact that Cobos had throughout the world is monumental. And you started to see more and more Mendoza, Argentina, Malbec wines being produced and more people putting money into it. So that's an amazing thing. And still, there aren't too many Malbecs from other places out on the market. You might find some boutique ones, but mass produced, still not yet. And it has a long way to go. But remember that Malbecs are easy drinking, everyday casual wines. Like they're fruit forward, they're nice, juicy. They have this good body, like this good amount of weight to it. Good acidity, like they are well balanced. They are fantastic wines. And then if you get a Reserva, which has some oak on it, not heavy on the oak, you just get another depth of layer that's not still going to give you any of the other type of wines that's in oak, like the Cabs, Merlots, or anything like that. It has its own place, and it's really fantastic, and it's still light and delicate. And I can't see too many people like, ew, no. Like it's approachable. It's everyday. It's casual drinking. I think that everybody should try it. That's where I stand with it because I do enjoy Malbec, and the price points on them are fantastic for great quality wines. That's where I stand. Mwah. Like I just had one a couple days ago. I had one, of course, from this one wasn't from Cahors, but it was from Southwest France, and it was really ripe. Like it was really ripe and tart. Like so, it was like biting into like a blackberry, black cherry, or dark cherry. I don't know what you guys call those, but it was like biting into that, a pomegranate, and you get all that acidity, like splash. It was amazing, and it was only $9.99. It was like, oh my goodness, it was fantastic. It was nice, juicy. It's exactly what you would expect it to be. traditional, you know? Speaking of traditions or traditional, 4th of July is here, and this is the perfect wine to take to a barbecue because it's so versatile, it's so laid back, it's going to go with pretty much anything that's being presented. So I highly recommend you do that, try that, because that smokiness is only going to just bring out so much more of the flavors in the wine, no matter if it's a Reserva, no matter if it's just super fruit forward, it's going to work. As long as you don't have no dry burgers, like them dried out burgers is just wow. Like if you go to a barbecue and you want yours like well done, I'm judging you. I'm sorry, don't sit next to me. That means you got like the black Air Forces on. Like, no, I don't want that energy around. We just want some good food, and have some fun. I mean, you might want to like have the barbecue sauce like dripping off of your burger just so that'll be the juice. But if it's not having its own juice within the burger, they'll stay away from me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. I love you guys in your palate too. But that's one of the things that I would do with a Malbec. Outside of that, of course, I'm taking it to a steakhouse on some seriousness. It's just like all right, because it can withhold any steak you put in front of it, because it has the structure of the Malbec is just that amazing. Something else that I'm doing with my Malbec is I'm pairing it with the show The Bear on FX. I think it's season 3 that I'm in right now, and I am wildly not appreciating it. I could appreciate it, but it's not as great as the first season. The second one was alright, but this one is definitely just like nah, and Malbec is helping me get through each episode. Like the facts are still true, so it's still sticking to or true to the culture of the hospitality industry, but the storyline is just like, yo, what? Come on. Nah, this is what we're going to do. This is what you guys are going to do with it. I'd rather you take your time and develop, but that's what the wine is there for. It's helping me get through all of that. Just like it's helping me get through it, it can help you to get through whatever kind of thing you're going through. All right, so just don't overlook Malbec, because Malbec is easygoing. It's something that you don't have to sit there and be like, what do I get? Once again, thank you for checking out this episode of Wine Unknown. I'm your host, Brian Fennell, also known as Bright Guy, and wow, man, how juicy was that episode? No pun intended, but the Malbec, once again, is a fantastic, great varietal you should try, or a type of wine, no matter where it's from. You're still going to get that fruit forwardness. You're still going to get that nice acidity. Everything is just going to be so perfect for you. I actually want to get some more right now. I think I might stop to go get some. You should too. Make sure that you do try it with different kinds of foods to figure out what your palate is and what you can take and what you can't take, because that's what this whole journey is about, discovering yourself within the world of wine. I'll just leave it at that. Once again, my name is Brian Fennell, also known as Bright Guy, and this is the journey of Wine Unknown. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends about it, and let's keep this thing going. Also, we do have fan mail, so if you're on whatever you're on, click that first link and you can leave me a message right there, and I'll be so appreciative of it. Ooh, can't wait to see you next week on Wine Unknown. All right, ciao.